Rob, you've been involved in a lot of these semi-finals over the years, but would you put that right up there in terms of the quality of the performance?
Definitely, I think our actual individual and collective effort today was amazing. You know, probably the one thing you've got to be concerned about in this circumstance, because what was different to all our other semi-finals, was that there's a game next week. You know, every other time you get to this stage of the season, these are the last 2 rounds of the season. You play a semi-final, final. That's it. You're done. You know, and the reality is, you know, we knew that was a game there that was there next week. Everything could have gone wrong for us. And the lads worked so hard, they refused to let anything go wrong for us.
What's more impressive, your defence or your attack at the moment?
I mean, today I thought our defence was what won it for us, because ultimately I know we've ended up scoring quite a lot of points, and ultimately maybe we could have conceded a few more and still won. But on the whole, you know, I just thought our desire to defend every inch of the pitch, all the way to our try line and beyond even, was incredible. And I think that desire, that energy, that drive, ultimately that probably was what wore Bath down quicker than our attack, because some of our attacks actually came quite easily. Well, not easily, they came quite quickly, didn't they? And we scored quite quickly, and I think that element is down to that repeated effort you put in defence, and sooner or later it pays off, and it paid off with tries today.
Hard to single out individuals, but Joe Simmons again seems to always make things happen. Talk to us about how he's developed. It seems to be a real coming of age period for him at the moment.
Yeah, well, he's like anybody. You know, he's still not played all that much rugby. I know it sounds a bit odd. He's not played all that much rugby. You know, he's still in what you call fly half terms young. Still gathering experience all the time, but what he's able to do now, he's playing in a lot of big games. He's playing in a lot of big European games now. He's playing in knockout games now, and I think he's just starting to realise that, you know, he can drive it, he can run it, but he can also be a threat himself, and it's the threat he is that's the important thing. I think today he was more of a threat than he was last week initially, and I think that's the key is for him to stay there, be a threat all the time, and when he carries, when he's a threat, when he kind of gets himself on the ball, he starts to really pull defences around, and that really is what's coming of age. And he just doesn't miss place kicks, does he? You know, and 5 points become 7 points most of the time, and it just creates scoreboard pressure that is difficult for other teams to deal with.
He's 23. There was not a single 30-year-old in your starting 15. What does that say about the future?
Well, hopefully it means we've got a few years with this group to grow and develop. That's the key, isn't it? The key is for them to play these games and enjoy them, enjoy playing together, and learn as we go along, and learn what you've got to put into a game if you really want to come out of it as a winner. And we're starting to learn that more and more all the time. But it's going to have its biggest test for this group in the next 2 weeks.
Today wasn't uncharted territory because you've been here 5 years in a row. Next week is. You're going back to back. You've never been in the dying stages of Europe and Premiership simultaneously. What challenge does that throw up for the players and for you as the
I think now, not too much, if I'm honest with you. I think now we're getting back to standard weeks. That we really like that. So the lads will have a day off tomorrow, as they always would do, and we'll come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We know exactly where our opposition are racing. They're in a slightly different scenario, aren't they? I think they've rested again, the majority of their players. They don't want to risk them from COVID or injury tomorrow.
Could they be rusty?
Potentially, you know, they could be potentially being, but we've got to make sure that we get our mental and physical energy right back where we need it to be. We crank up our emotional desire to train well this week and throw everything into that game, and you know, what will be will be.
And I know it's not the first time we've spoken about this, but real shit, this place isn't full to the
It'd be rocking, wouldn't it? It would be rocking.
Lots of wonderful
It would
memories.
be absolutely rocking, wouldn't it? It would be an incredible thing going in here today, and obviously financially the club would be in a lot more stable position, but it is what it is, and that's why I've just got to keep crediting the players for making the season what it is so far.